Not My Father's Son, by a memoir by Alan Cumming. Alan Cumming is a Scottish actor, singer, um, movie star who wrote who wrote this book, who wrote this memoir about his very difficult relationship with his father. Um, in 2010, he was kind of nervous about going on the show called "Who Do You Think You Are," which is a sort of a celebrity genealogy show where they're gonna kind of delve into your family's past and tell you all about your family. Sometimes it's rather uncomfortable truths, as other celebrities have found out. At the same time as this is happening, suddenly his father, who was mentally and physically abusive to both him and his brother, though he seems to have received the brunt of it, popped back up in his life with his own bombshell. And the book alternates between memories of that very very difficult childhood and him negotiating this difficult time of all these revelations, some of them coming from the show about uh, more kind of past family stuff, and stuff that his father brings up. So yeah, the book alternates between sort of a then and now, the past when he was a kid, and the present, which is 2010. And it opens with a then, which is his childhood, and particularly full on example of the abuse that he suffered under his father, who basically bullied him, tormented him, physically abused him, controlled him, made him feel like complete shit for his childhood, until he finally escaped, when he became old enough to go off to school, like in his late like 17 something, 16, 17, something in there. So yeah, it alternates between this and then and now, which was good, because after reading the then chapter, I was like, if this whole book is like the then chapter, I just would have probably put it down and walked away if it was like a giant, if it just gone then. So interweaving was a good thing. There's some writers that could have kind of done the then, but definitely Cumming is definitely, he's an actor and he's a singer, but maybe not. Uh, doesn't have the beauty of language or of telling, or kind of the depth that I think maybe you would be able to sustain just full on. So it was a very good idea to just kind of alternate between. And I should probably mention just at this point that reasons I picked this book is, hey, I had a very difficult, abusive, I'd say abusive father growing up, Scottish father growing up in Canada myself. No, not anywhere near the amount that Cumming has had with his father. Mine had much more to do with alcohol and the instability that way. But so there's my own, how much I can kind of sit with this sort of stuff. So for me, having the then and now was definitely the way to go. He has the support of his brother and mother, uh, to deal with this stuff in the now thing of kind of adults. But he's also got this reality crew, the "Who Do You Think You Are" show, people who you really get the sense are, they're dripping out the revelations, and it's all more to do with, we want to ha ha ha. We're like, they'll say, "Oh, Alan, it's gonna be easy day," and then they'll zing him with something because they want to get that reaction shot, and it's they're exploiting him for that. And I mean, he's getting kind of the free, their expertise in exploring the history of his family, but the price is they get the gotcha moments, and he's very careful to keep his father, whatever is happening over there, separate from those people, because those are the media. And indeed, his father seems to have jumped up because media is always crawling around him, because he's a famous movie star. And so they're always poking his family. They're always like at his mother's door, or his father's door. They're always taking quotes and running them to, like, father. If he talks about how his father was like abusive as a kid, they'll run to the father and say, "Oh, you were obviously sexually abusing your son. How do you react, sir?" Where it's like, that wasn't what he said. He said physical abuse, mental abuse, which is also abuse, but they're trying to twist things to try and get a really good reaction from the father. And well, they've got a reaction now because the father's like, "I have this news and I'm going to drop it, and maybe I'm going to talk to the press." So this is where the celebrity part of there's always throughout this book, you're always aware of Cumming is suffering from, problems that, as I've said, my, difficulties in my family growing up. He's had his, but he's got that extra thing of there's fame, there's all the people watching, and there's all the people who want to exploit his misery to sell newspapers, to now get clicks and all that sort of stuff. So I so that's and why did I pick this book up? I picked this book up because he's a famous guy, and I knew about him. I was like, oh, I kind of like him. He's that kind of impish Scottish guy, and it's like, oh, he's doing a memoir about his father, and I've got my father, so here, let's hear what he has to say about his. Basically, because he's famous, got nothing to do with is he a good writer or anything like that. And there is some of that thing of he's not a writer, so the father in the book is very much portrayed through Cumming's eyes, which is he's a monster, and everything he does, whether it's back then or in the present, is all seen through the eye of he's out to get me. He's a violent psychopath. He doesn't. He's very flat in that sense, and you wonder. I mean, this is like, am I going to argue to Cumming about oh, maybe you're not saying your father right? How would I know? All I can say is he just didn't come alive as a character. Even in a nonfiction book, he didn't come alive as a character with complexity, or at least it's like you have to kind of look around Cumming, kind of pushing his point of view, and it's kind of a very singular point of view, which it's a valid one. And I guess it's like a first person novel where you're trying to kind of like look around and say, okay, did he do this thing because he wants to hurt you, or has he got his own motivations, his own insecurities, his own hurts and pains? And I get that with my father. My father was not nice to me as a child. He was explosive and unpredictable, and I've had to kind of just for my own sanity try and imagine how that got influenced by stuff that he was being selfish. He wasn't thinking about me. He was within himself, which humanizes him in a way. And I don't feel like Cumming humanizes his father, and I don't know if that's something I should be asking him to do. I'm just saying that the book was suffered from that in the sense of as a work of art, of something where I needed something more to kind of make it less Cumming just pushing, telling me how to feel, because that's how he was feeling. So I feel like if he'd been how do you criticize someone for their point of view of their father? I just felt that the writing was such that it was very pushing, telling me, versus giving me more observational stuff to be able to make up my own mind. So yeah, I guess I'm complaining that an actor wasn't a great writer for his book, and that's So I'm just going to put it down as I'm just going to address it from the writing point of view, and that's it. Just it didn't work out that way for me. That said, though, I'm actually kind of grateful to this book because it allowed me to sit with this father and son relationship, and for me to kind of go, well, why am I reacting so strongly about his his very negative view of his father. Like it's like, well, I think it's because I'm looking at my own view of my father, and I mean, Cumming is very sure about his father's motivations, in a way that he can't be because he's not his father, and I'm not sure about my father's motivations. My father was an alcoholic, and he ended up killing himself. And people can say, "Oh, he killed himself because of this or that." It's like, well, no, he killed himself, and I'll never know what his ultimate motivations were for that or why he did that. And and there's some ways that I treasure that not being able to know. It's it's a part of his humanness, him being this other independent human being, is that I can never know what's going on there. I can imagine. I can try different things out, and I think the more I can imagine, the more I'm flexible with that, the more I can sit with my father, with memory of my father. So I'm grateful to Cumming for his struggle with that, even though I don't think that I ultimately think I had to bring my own imagining to it that I think the book lacked for me. So yeah, yeah. So Cumming isn't someone like he's a wonderful actor. And I hope this experience was good for him. The book was useful to me. I got use out of it. I don't know if I'd particularly go back to him for more of his work, just because I think the writing in the end kind of grated on me in the end. But yeah, but you know, thank you for letting me sit with my father for a while. That was very good. All right, more videos later.